Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning coffee time. I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful week. I will tell you that we are living dangerously this morning. We have currently 5 dogs and a cat in the house. Our moderator is at a dentist appointment and usually helps corral the dogs so that if they're barking. Here's the thing, though, and we'll have an update on the pool in a little while, but we're expecting any minute now more pool tradesmen to come in and finish up the pool, which means the dogs are going to go bat blank crazy.
Hit the Elgato camera.
What?
Hit the Elgato camera.
What? I don't know where that one is.
It's bottom right. Yeah. Well,
okay. Oh, that's Jenny. That's Jenny. And that's Maggie. Okay. All right.
All right. Snap camera.
Okay. I don't know how to do that. See, you're changing things on me. Why does he do this to me, guys? Why? I don't know. It's like, don't throw stuff in there.
It's always been there.
I understand that, but don't tell me to flip it at the minute because then I don't know where anything is. So we had some technical difficulties this morning. I'm not sure the technical aspect of it, but Eric was scrambling this morning. The computer updated, and so we lost, he had to basically redo some of the little system over here. So the buttons, candidly, are not in the exact same spot, and I was just getting used to them. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and you know where everything is, and then you walk in, and then they've changed everything around, and you're like, I don't know where, like, I'm just trying to find, like, oatmeal. I just can't find it. Anyway, so sorry about that. But yeah, so we have 5 dogs kind of roaming around here underfoot, quite literally. And we're just hoping that we can get through this coffee time without them going crazy, because as soon as one goes off, they will all go off. Anyway, so good morning to you. Again, busy week ahead. We have a lot going on. If you watched our Sunday drive yesterday, we talked a little bit about end of the quarter and end of fiscal years for builders and that push to get everyone closed. And here we are at the end of September, and we do have quite a bit of activity happening with builders really pushing to get these homes prepped and ready for closing, one of which will be happening, unfortunately, not tomorrow. Well, there are closings tomorrow, but that's not unfortunately. Next Monday morning at 10 o'clock is a closing. It's actually my daughter and son-in-law's closing next Monday morning. So we are still trying to figure out how the coffee time is going to work. Eric may do it for me. Okay, Eric says he's got me. I may do a quick 15 minutes and then scooch out the door, but we shall see. So don't worry, we'll be here. Speaking of coffee time, yes, sir, got it. Speaking of coffee time, we asked last week about whether or not Monday mornings at 9 was a good time, or whether or not we should try something like a Wednesday evening, so it was a little bit more of a midweek wind down, decaf coffee mode. Because I don't drink wine. Well, Moscato every once in a while, but I've told by one connoisseurs that's not wine, that's juice, but we're not drinkers. Anyway, so we're going to try that this Wednesday, I think. So we'll have one as we're having right now, and then we'll probably have another one this Wednesday evening at 7, Eric, 7, I think, 7 Eastern Standard Time. So if you are awake and want to join us, I know we have a lot of international people watching, which it just makes my heart so happy. And so I know we are kind of trying to coordinate with what's, who's asleep, who's awake, if it's, mid-morning or lunchtime or evening for you. Speaking of that, Shafiq, yes, they are in the middle of the Queen's funeral, I believe, right now. So my friend, yes, God bless the Queen. So that's, did you see that beautiful rainbow? Oh my gosh, I woke up this morning to these beautiful Instagram posts of that rainbow. Absolutely amazing. So sometimes those little moments it just brings immediate tears, because it's like, wow, that's stunning. That is beautiful. All right. So looking at everybody, oh my gosh. So I think I said good morning to the first people, but we got Marsha and Trina and Susie Q and Raz and Jay and Kennard. Hey, sir. Hopefully you're getting good night sleeps at this point. Jay and Forrest. Kim, I think I said hi to you earlier, but if not, you get it again, my friend. Rob, always here. And then Tammy. Yeah, so Tammy and I were just texting a little while ago. And Tammy, you have inspired me, and I'm going to talk about this either today or at another time. Sydney is here.
Raz is Hello Horizon West.
Oh, Raz is Hello Horizon West. Okay, so Raz. All right, hold on. Let me put this one up. Can I do that? Yes, there we go. Is that right? Nope, that's the wrong one. But hey, Jay. Okay, Raz 59. Yes. So if you are interested in all things Horizon West, follow Hello Horizon West on Instagram. And TikTok, yes. I was actually just going through them this morning, and I cracked up on the one that says it's a Starbucks grande kind of day or something like that. That kind of made me laugh a little bit. Mostly because I have, speaking of mug of the day, look at that transition, folks. I have my mug of the day. There's two of them that I have today. This one is my Virginia Starbucks mug. And the reason I have it is actually, please don't spill, because I actually have coffee in it. I don't know if you can see it. Is right here, Monticello right here. Ooh, there we go, Monticello. And by the way, there's a peanut underneath of it. One day I'll talk about peanuts. Anyways, this is my Starbucks Virginia cup, and that is, we had a big week here for my two boys. We have 2 boys, 2 girls. My oldest son, Forrest, is a runner, and so he did a half marathon out in Monticello over the week. I guess it was yesterday, Saturday. And it was, he did super, super well, came in second place for a half marathon at 1 hour and 26 minutes. I believe, if that's correct. I believe so. Yes, that is correct. And then our youngest son, Dawson, was over the week was accepted into the University of Alabama, which is great because if you have children or if you have had children, you know that one of the biggest stresses that senior year of high school is the whole college application and acceptance. And it can be a little nerve-wracking, academically, emotionally, it's just a lot going on. So one of the things I love about University of Alabama is that they have rolling admissions. And so it is a university where you can apply and, they'll review that application and they'll spit out those acceptance letters. And so we are super, super, super happy about that. He is happy because literally there is just so much weight that is removed from our son emotionally, stress-wise, just with college, to know that he's accepted at a place that he really wants to go. So I'm having serious heart challenges with that because with our oldest son, Forrest, who's pictured right there with his medal that he earned, again, second place, 1 hour and 26 minutes for a half marathon out in Monticello, is that, he went to UVA, University of Virginia, which when we lived in Virginia was 2 hours and 15 minutes away from our house. And then our daughter, Alyssa, went to James Madison University, which is in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So that one was only 3 hours from our house and only 45 minutes from her big brother in Charlottesville. And our other daughter, Elizabeth, who is at Valdosta State in Georgia, is also 3 hours. So I feel as a mom, 3 hours is my limit. 3 hours. And I cannot get to Alabama in 3 hours. Not even if I fly, which I'd have to fly because there's just no way. So I'm a little bit worried about this one, but he's a great kid. And if this is the place that's going to feel like home and nurture him for the next 4 years after he finishes this senior year of high school, then so be it. And it was also, speaking of my boys, it was also the day where we got the senior yearbook proofs came in. So we had to order that. So just lots of stuff going on. But I'm proud of my boys. That's always fun to get a message from Forrest, that he just finished running a race and he ran cross country in high school. And I always tell people, he fell into that very, naturally. He actually played soccer. And in Virginia, soccer is a spring sport and cross country is in the fall. And so he actually just tried out for the cross country team to kind of stay in shape during the off season to get him prepped and ready for that. And then honestly just fell in love with running and has not stopped. So super proud of you, Forrest. And same thing to Dawson. His name is Forrest. Run, Forrest, run. Yes. No, he hates that. Anyway, okay. So that's about my boys. But I did want to say, so this is my mug of the day, my Starbucks Virginia mug, specifically because it had the little Monticello there, which is where he ran, which is why that's significant. And then I also have my water mug today, which is my Alabama. So those are my 2 mugs of the day. So whatever mug you have, cheers to you, my friends. By the way, I'm actually kind of liking this one because I'm a lefty. I'm able to hold this one and you can see Virginia and you can see that. So I'm just going to say that's pretty good design if you ask me, Starbucks. Okay. All right, let's go to a couple questions and then we're going to get going on what is brewing. Let me search for questions. By the way, if you don't know to do this already, if you have a question, put capital Q with a colon. That'll help me. Yep, Forrest did the reminder. And then, do you have any information on home rentals in the Mineola, Claremont area? I mean, there's definitely rentals out there. We talked before about how much the rent is going for. Eric, you're close by. You told me yesterday you checked at the apartment complex. This is in Horizon West, so this is not an answer to your question in Mineola and Claremont, but this is just really shocking to me. What was the
$3,000 a month for a 3-bedroom?
$3,000 a month for a 3-bedroom in Hamlin. Craziness, absolutely craziness.
I think they're talking more about home rentals, but the apartment rentals we looked at were 2-bedroom, $2,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll figure that out. Text me and we'll figure out if you're asking about how, are there like home rentals. So yes, there are home rentals that you can, but point is rent anywhere, whether it's an apartment or whether you're, renting a condo or something. It's the same. It's craziness. They're really kind of, they've increased that rent or that lease amount substantially, which is a little bit of a challenge for anyone.
Like $1.25 a square foot or so for a house.
It actually doesn't seem as bad as I thought. $1.25 a square foot for a house-ish. Anyway, so let's go to what is brewing for the day, because I have to answer Rob's question because he asked it early and we have an update for you, my friends. So what's brewing? Okay, so what's brewing today? Well, so the first one's not super exciting. No one likes to start off their Monday with sad news or bad news. But if you've been watching the news at all, if you've been watching the weather, Puerto Rico was hit with Hurricane Fiona. Pretty substantial, and God bless them. They just had Maria a few years ago, which was a Cat 5. I don't know where the video part is. But that's just devastating. And, we've had pretty good weather, knock on wood. I'm sorry, guys. It was just mommy.
That's right. It's just for $100.
Okay, that was hysterical. Oh, they're still barking. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so knock on wood, but just knock on my hand. Oh my gosh. We have not had crazy weather. Okay, that was funny. We have not had terrible weather. Now, we do have our horrendous thunderstorms in the late afternoon, but we, at this point, have not had any really bad ones. So again, to our friends in Puerto Rico, and obviously we have a big Puerto Rican population here in Florida, especially here in Central Florida. So I know that a lot of people have friends and family there that are quite concerned. So oh my gosh, look at that bridge just going away. That is absolutely just devastating. So sending lots of love and hugs and anything else you can possibly imagine to assist them as they recover from this. All right, so the next part of what's brewing is our listings. So we want to go back to, so we have a new listing that's actually going active today. That's a townhome. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But we also have, we want to go back to, so in the community of Hawksmoor, which is in the Horizon West area, this one went on the market not too terribly long ago. This is amazing. We actually just did a price reduction. And I want to talk about that because we talk a little bit about, that pricing the houses, the price that the house is going down. And here I am, telling you that usually they're only reduced when, maybe they're priced too high to begin with. Well, this is kind of the case a little bit. It was not priced too high based on a recent comp, but when it does not sell right away, then the market is telling us. And unfortunately, when this one got listed, I think it was right at the tail end of kind of that maximum point. And this exact same floor plan with the exact same elevation on a very on a large corner home site, just like this one is, had been listed. I had actually listed it at $625. It sold for $630, and it appraised at $630. So using that $630 price point as our gauge in pricing this one, that is kind of where we felt quite confident it would sell and it would appraise. However, we did price it a little bit higher in the beginning just to see if we could maybe, maximize any of those stragglers out there that were willing to pay a little bit more. Didn't happen right away. So now we have reduced it to right in line with where the other one sold as a comparable sold comp. So anyway, so this one, and by the way, it is absolutely gorgeous. So if you are interested in this one, we do have a video tour of this one on the YouTube channel. Text me. I'm happy to send you that link directly. You can share it with friends and family. This home is absolutely beautiful. It has some nice built-ins, some custom closets in the in the owner's bathroom. It has some trim work. It has a beautiful built-in up in the loft area. So this is a really good one. And again, we've reduced it slightly to get it to right where that most recent sold comp is going to kind of validate that pricing. And then we also have a new townhome in the exact same community, by the way, also in Hawksmoor in Horizon West in Central Florida. Winter Garden is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Now this one is fully furnished, by the way. So this is kind of the other end of the spectrum. So every once in a while, excuse me, you get a client where you come in, we come in, we give them the home valuation that we do, which again, just kind of shout out to Eric for taking my brain and wrapping it around his brain and making something that I visualized become an actual reality, which is we do not do the typical type of a comp or of a CMA. It's there's an art to it to some extent, but there's also a button that you can push on the MLS. And there's a lot of realtors, excuse me, that just do that. That's not the way we do it. We really dig deep. Eric really tracks this stuff. He digs super deep into that data. I told you, he's always the data brain, right? Forrest too. Oh yes, absolutely. Forrest. Excuse me. So, all right, let me get my water now. Okay. So we dig deep into that. And so we kind of compiled a visual representation and then combined it with the actual data or data, to put it together into a really nice cohesive presentation. So this example of that particular townhome is we told them we thought that was a $455 price point. And that's what all the comps say. That's what the, literally very, very recent ones have sold for. And in this case, they said, you know what, let's list it at $449. Let's go under that. And we're going to include the furniture. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? That's exactly what they're doing. So when we say their furniture is included, first of all, that means the appliances. So the appliances are included. By the way, same thing with the other one that we just mentioned, that bungalow that we just talked about. Same thing. Appliances are included. Not furniture, but the appliances are included. But this one has appliances included. There's a lot of furniture and kind of artwork and knickknacks and like the home goods, like dishes and appliances, not just the washer, dryer, refrigerator, but like toasters or coffee makers. Like this is a completely move-in ready home. There are some pieces and some artwork that are candidly, of course, are important to them. And so that's going to go with them when they move. But the majority of that furniture and furnishings is going to remain. So if you're looking, or if you have friends or family that's looking for a townhome that's kind of move-in ready, furniture included, by the way, at that price point, so when you have furniture included in a home, it's not going to be appraised with the furniture. So anytime you are selling furniture, it has to be done separately outside of the contract. Okay. Unless you're just going to throw it in for free. If you're throwing it in for free, then so be it. But if you are requesting an additional payment for optional items that could be purchased outside of your actual contract, then it has to be done outside of the contract. In this case, they're like, nope, we're just leaving it. So you're not only getting a townhome that's priced under where we told them to price it, but they're including a mess load of furniture and things that even if you don't want, you have, and you can use what you want and sell the rest and make a little bit more money. I'm like absolutely floored on this one. So $449 for this townhome here in Hawksmoor. And this one is actually going active today. Again, if you're interested, as always, you can call me at 407-848-8042. Okay, now Erica's pointing to me again.
Search, go back to here, and then
Yeah.
you got you have a good question at the,
Oh,
at the
a
bottom
good question.
about townhomes.
Oh, good question. Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. All right, hold on. My thing's not working. All right, where is the question?
It's at the bottom, so your
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's not working. Anyway, all right. So let's keep talking about that. Kim, you had a question about townhomes. So
she wants to know about insulation in the walls. How's the sound, and are they any good in 55 plus?
Well, so a lot of the townhomes around here, you're going to have the firewall in between each of the units. In fact, recently I had a townhome that I sold the townhome, and because I represented the sellers on that one. And when the buyer had the inspection done, there was one section of the firewall that just needed attention. And so we had the builder come back out for that one because that was part of the structural. So we were able to get that taken care of. But yeah, you do have firewalls between them. All of them are different. So Eric got it fixed out. Share walls. How well insulated are they in general? Yeah, so they actually are very well insulated. I mean, obviously, if you've got a really rowdy neighbor and they're cranking music and the speaker is right up against the wall, then I can't guarantee that you're not going to hear that. But in most cases, you're going to have really good insulation. Remember, here in Florida, just weather alone is going to warrant that we have really good insulation. So there is a sound barrier. Now, when we built this home, there was an option when we built to have an additional insulation as like a sound barrier. Candidly, it's in the wall that's right behind me, and the wall that's right behind me backs up to my teenage son's bedroom. And I can still hear things every once in a while, but it's usually because he's screaming at the TV because he's playing a video game. So I don't know how much it's going to be buffered out. But hopefully in a 55 plus community, people aren't yelling at it. But I think you would be absolutely fine for your insulation there and for the soundproofing. And for the 55 plus communities, really, I've only seen here locally. I'm sure they exist, but here locally, I've really only seen like the duplexes, the villas. So there's only one wall that is actually being shared with the other family, the other couple, the other person. So it's not like you have them on both sides. So good question. All right, so let's go. Let's continue back to the what's brewing. So we have the new listing. So we talked about one more time, pointing this one back up. So this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath upstairs. By the way, this home, I just wanted to point out too, one more thing. It has a extra space on the first floor. So you have your kitchen and your family room and your dining area, but you also have a separate room that's kind of used as your office space. And then upstairs, you additionally have a loft. So it not only is it 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, but you have a downstairs flex space designated office, and then or whatever you need to be designated for. And then upstairs, you have an additional loft space. So you've got multiple spots there. And then again, back to our townhome. The townhome that is fully furnished at 3 bedrooms, also 2.5 baths, almost 1,800 square feet, priced at $449, which is an absolute steal. By the way, these communities here, this one also has a courtyard. So one of the differences with the townhomes here in this particular community with this builder, which was mad at me, by the way, is that you do have it's a rear entry. Obviously you don't see a garage there in the front. It's a townhome. So you come in the back, but there is a covered breezeway and a courtyard. So again, if you're interested, we're going to have those pictures up. That MLS listing is going to go active.
Video out later today.
Yes, absolutely. The video will be out later today. And then the final one, Rob, for you, because you asked early on this morning. So we have a pool update. I told you we were waiting any minute now. We're living dangerously to see if our rock guy shows up. But here's the latest one.
Bad chance he's going to show up.
I know, right? So this is where we are at the moment. So what can you see? Let's play that game. All right. So what I see is an incomplete waterfall, but it's getting there. So all of that rock work, as we've talked before, the rock work being done, all of that's going to have the waterfall. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but when it's rained, you can kind of see a little bit where the path is going to go, but the center section is going to be the waterfall. You can see that we have the blue tile over to the left of the screen. You can see that is up above. That's where we call Sunset Rock. You can see, at the front of the picture, that's kind of looking right off of the lanai. So the pavers are all done. The travertine is done. The drain caps are done. The pool is an absolute hot mess on the inside. But I think our next step is once our rock artist comes to finish, and it's not ours, by the way. Again, he's contracted by the pool company. He is the person that is in charge of doing their rock work. I think all he has left to do is to paint it, like to paint the rock so that it looks more of a natural color scheme, and then to waterproof it. And then at that point, I think we're ready to measure for the screen. We were told that once they come to measure for the screen, it should be 4 to 5 weeks from the measuring to installation of the screen. And then they have to come out and clean all of the backyard. This picture actually doesn't show it, but the yard is an absolute disaster everywhere else around this too. So they need to kind of clean all that mess up. And then obviously clean the inside of the pool, put the coating inside the pool and pass safety inspection. We have an electrician still needs to come out. The other thing I want to point out is, do you see all those plants back there in the planters? We are very excited. Even when we got married, I've never seen Eric this excited about anything. He is so excited about this pool. I cannot stand it. And it makes my heart so happy. This is something he really, really wants. Has always wanted, like this hot tub, which you can't see, but if you see where the ladder is, there's another little section over there. You can kind of see the blue tile That's where the hot tub is. But he is very excited and very impatient. And so we have just been wanting to visualize what it's going to look like. And so he went out to like Lowe's and Home Depot and some like nurseries around here and got all sorts of pots and then planted these trees and bird of paradise and some rubellinis and just all sorts of plants back there. So those are kind of scattered. They're not actually placed definitively. That's just where they kind of ended up. So anyway, so that is my sweet husband who is super excited about that pool area. I still wonder if we're ever going to really enjoy it the way he wants. But at any rate, all right, so let's move on. Are there any more questions? And then, yes, Sydney, I saw this. Sydney, yes, that is amazing for $449. And I think that's really important. It's funny because you think back, 5 years ago, a townhome for $449, you would have been freaking out. But right now it's like, whoa, that's actually a really good price. And because it is in a community where the design options were not packaged, it was not cookie cutter. There was unique a la carte design center options permitted with these townhomes. They have courtyards. And again, it's an absolutely amazing community. So that's a good one. Kim, thank you very much. It does look good. I love that pool. It's really coming together. The pavers, Shrina, made a huge difference. Like as soon as we saw that, it was kind of like a teary moment where it's like, oh, I get it now. I see how it's going to start, developing into something that we've been waiting for. Emma, do you use those crazy guys from Insane Pools, Lucas Lagoons? No. Our pool company is Pools by Bradley. And
we did tell our pool designer.
Yes.
He mentioned Lucas Lagoons because we wanted a lagoon style.
Yes. So we have definitely seen their work and quite impressive. So yeah, that's very, very cool. All right. So let us.
Side note, sorry.
Yes.
Travel there just made a comment, but that's Lauren P.
Lauren, where?
Travel there.
Oh, is that Lauren?
That's Lauren.
I know I am. So I'm blowing her kisses because she knows. We were just talking the other day. Actually, we were texting. By the way, I'm going to go one more thing and then because I want to mention when I was there with Tammy the other day. So Tammy is, she's a client of mine. But more importantly, I feel like, once the client relationship is kind of, you've closed on your home, you're still going to be my client, but, in some cases we're also friends. And so I definitely feel that with the Bushamas. And I went over to Tammy's last Monday, actually after our coffee time. And Tammy, I told you this already, but it was so well needed. And I didn't realize I needed it. But so not only were we there to look at Tammy's house, they've done some absolutely amazing DIY projects within the home. Her husband, Hisham, has like the most amazing like talent and gift. The two of them together can have their own show because custom cabinets. They've changed arches in their home to squared out frame. It's amazing. Built-ins, all sorts of things. So I was over there to kind of look at what they had done because I'm kind of jealous because they're so good at doing that. But when I went, it was, also to kind of catch up. And it was so amazing. Like Hisham goes outside, he snips some fresh mint. He comes inside and makes this amazing like Moroccan mint tea. Absolutely the best tea I've ever had. And it was like hot tea too, which was so good. And then a couple of, and I don't know the names of them. So Tammy, you can let us know, but two like Moroccan, like cookies, like a traditional little kind of a cookie dessert type thing. And that whole experience just reminded me how incredible it is that we live where we live with such a diverse culture background to be able to share those types of things. So anyway, so that was a really nice moment. So again, I thank you, Tammy, for letting me come over there the other day and share that with you guys. And we're going to like showcase some of your work one of these days. Okay. So let's move on to the next thing. What is the next thing, my love? Let's do what? Oh, okay. Hold on. He wants me to do this one again. Okay. That's Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Okay. All right. Now how do I go back to the regular one? Okay, snap cam. All right. See, does this to me. All right. You got to let me know when you're doing that because I get my like legs all down there and everything. Okay. All right. Let's go on. Let's go to our Zillow Gone Wild. So this one is quite interesting. So this one is in River Falls, Wisconsin. Is it W? There's something over top of mine. Yes, River Falls, Wisconsin. 315,000. That is a bargain. And not only is it a bargain because to my understanding, it's around about 3 acres, maybe even over 3 acres worth of land. But look at this Hobbit house that is built in to the earth. So if you are like a Lord of the Rings fan, if this is kind of your vibe, this home is on the market for $315,000. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,236 square feet. I mean, honestly, pretty cool. So take a look if you want to see more pictures of this one. Again, I think architecture is so cool. I think creativity and imagination and artistry is absolutely incredible. So get your kids in the arts, my friends, because it really helps stimulate a side of your brain. But look at that. Who would have thought building that house into the earth? So my best friend, when I was growing up, one of my dear friends, in fact, her name is Rosie. Rosie, Brooke, and myself used to play the Charlie's Angels. And true story. Again, no video games, right? No phones. We literally rode our bikes and strolled our baby dolls, and we played house at each other's houses. And we would occasionally play Charlie's Angel. And I was, I was the blonde Cheryl Ladd. Is that who it was? And then Rosie was Jacqueline Smith because she had the right hair. And then Brooke was always the other one. I can't remember her name. Anyway, but Rosie's house was very similar. Her house was built on a hill. And when you went to the front of the home, it looked like a 1-story home. But when you went down the hill, you would turn in, and she had this massive game room with like a wet bar. It was so cool down under the earth. And I used to think that was so amazing whenever I was at her house. That part of the house was built down into the ground, and there were no like windows there from the front. So very cool. So not that the Hobbit house reminds me of Rosie's house, but that's pretty freaking cool. I love that. So if you're interested, don't give me a call because I can't sell you that one unless I refer it out to you. But anyway, pretty cool to look at. Okay. All right. So Eric wants me to go back to questions. Let me punch this back in. All right, what's going on with me this morning?
That was you again.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, all right, all right. Okay, good question. Do design center and lot premiums rise after each sales wave? That's a really good question. So, to my understanding, remember, I do not work for or represent builders, but I've done a mess load of new construction, and I've had lots of these types of questions on important meetings. So this is what I can tell you. Structural options. Now, the base price of the home is going to change as the sales increase in the community. So if the base price was $449, and then they have 5 sales, then it can go up to $454, whatever it is. The base price goes up. Structural options, so the cost of the elevation or the cost of the making that, den, the 4th bedroom, those do not necessarily change in price. Definitely not with each sales increase. It's just the base price. Lot premium is a little bit separate. They're not necessarily going to go up with each sales, but that is a very arbitrary amount that a builder can place on it. So they do change those lot premiums from time to time, not with every sales increase, but they might depending on an incentive package. So sometimes builders will have an incentive half off lot premiums, but they also just raise the lot premium. So it's kind of like, going to one of those stores and they have everything marked up and then they tell you it's on sale. It's like, okay, well, not really. But they don't change your structural options. That's really going to pretty much remain the same throughout the course of the build for the most part. Again, it don't work for the builder, but that is not what changes. It's the base price that changes. That's a very good question, though. Thank you, Emma. Emma. Pulte website is now showing multiple communities: Serenoa Lakes, Lake Nona, Sunset Preserve with quick move-in homes with the large base reductions, 27, 33, 42, and 100,000. So you're starting to see a little bit of a trickle here with some of the builders. They are really, like we said last time, they're up in the ante. We talked about this yesterday on the Sunday drive. They're really upping the ante as far as these price reductions. And remember, the builder has already figured out where their number is going to be. So they are just manipulating it, whether they are telling you they're reducing the base, which is really usually not the case, but they will have a quick move in and they will deduct from that quick move in. That pricing is going to all be relative. There is a community specifically. I'm not going to mention the builder and I'm not going to mention where it is. But they literally have just done a ridiculous incentive package because they were just not going to reduce the prices of anything. But they are, I mean, they're pretty much giving you anything you want if you will buy one of these quick move-ins. And by the way, let's reiterate that a quick move-in does not necessarily mean that it is ready. So a quick move-in means that it's permitted. It has, or could be permitted. Maybe it's come out of permitting. It might already be under construction. It does not mean that it's sitting there ready for you to move in 30 days. So quick move-ins is still that, use that term loosely, because that is definitely not always the case. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Construction status at Olympus, Osprey Ranch, Harvest, Ovation, all of that area. Okay, so Olympus is still coming along. They're definitely making progress out there in the Claremont area. So that whole area, we should do another Sunday drive maybe out there and kind of give you an update on that area. You've got some of the areas out in the Ovation, and this is actually, I'm glad you actually asked this question, even though it's not the exact community that you were talking about. But I did want to mention that West Haven at Ovation. So I actually have a client, building in that community, and they just received a letter from the builder, from the company, stating that they are asking them to sign an addendum to the contract stating that they are okay if it takes over the 2 years to build the home. Contractually, the new construction purchase agreement state in there that the builder has 2 years to build your home. And in normal times, it's not going to take 2 years to build your home. The builders want to build them as fast as they possibly can. But there are things that are out of the builder's control. Therefore, and in this case, the water main issue, which was not the builder's fault. It was just all a part of lots of things that we've discussed many, many times. But the long and short of it is that my client contracted a very long time ago. And now he's being told that we need to sign this addendum saying that it's okay if we take more than 2 years to build it, which is giving him great pause, great concern, and probably wants to back out of the contract. So when I reached out to my contacts with the builder, they said that they are just basically testing the water to see how people will be reacting, because they also understand that if the builder is not able to meet the conditions of their own purchase agreement, for instance, getting a home built and completed within 2 years, then the client has the opportunity to back out, and it should be with no repercussion. And so I think they're trying to feel that vibe out a little bit, but things are starting to progress. By the way, this Thursday, I think, we'll be getting the first sneak peek at the models at Del Webb Oasis. So we're going to be going in there to video the models at the 55 plus community, which, it's out there part of that Ovation area. So very exciting to do that. So Sydney, what was the price of the fully furnished home on that Hawkmore home? $449,000 was the asking price for that home. When we did the initial home pulse for them, our version of the CMA, we had suggested a list price of $455,000. So we actually suggested a little bit higher. The seller was like, you know what, let's crank this out. Let's go a little bit under and let's include the furniture. And so that is one heck of a deal. So $449,000 for that townhome that we were just talking about. Let's see this one. Do new construction price reductions adversely impact those already under contract in regards to appraisal when homes completed? Very good question. So the builder, for the most part here, let me see if I can get this off because it's a little bit crazy for me. All right. So, depending on your builder, in most cases, you have had to use their preferred their preferred lender, right? And in most cases, that's tied to the company under the same corporate umbrella. Most builders, Mattamy, Meritage, Taylor Morrison, K. Hovnanian, D.R. Horton, Dreamfinders doesn't have their own technical umbrella, but they do use Jet Home Loans, and that's kind of a affiliation there. But in most cases, when you are using that builder's preferred lender, they're the ones that are scheduling these appraisals, right? There have been new construction homes that have not appraised. So this is not like it's a free pass for a builder's lender just to say, yep, sure, you're good, no problem. Absolutely not true. Had a huge discrepancy with a client out in Serenoa Lakes because my client was one of the very first ones in there. But to answer your question about do any of the price reductions, remember, it's not so much the price reduction, it's the incentive. So it's still likely going to sell for a price that's not going to conflict with yours. It's just that you might go, I only got a $5,000 closing cost contribution, and these people are getting all closing costs paid and $50,000 at the design center. Like, that's rude. That's not fair. And that's how they're making up the difference, because they're not going to tank the integrity of the community. They're not going to do that. unless there is an absolute detrimental crash, which is not what we're talking about at all. I do not think that's what's happening at all. I think we're getting close to the end of quarters and fiscal years for these builders, and so they are upping everything. They have already increased their inventory, and they are dealing with the same thing that a buyer is dealing with, which is the buyers are going, I don't know if I can afford it anymore. Interest rates are a challenge. The uncertain completion time is a challenge. So that's why the builders are trying to overcome these detrimental aspects of new construction by giving you some money, to giving you some incentives to say, look, you know what, come here and we'll lock you in at 4.99, or come over here and we'll pay all your closing costs and we'll give you this off your lot premium. So it's really more about the incentive than any type of a reduction. Kim, so I want to come to the area for a month or so to check out different towns and suggestions where to stay for that amount of time. Kim, why don't you text me 407-848-8042? That way I can figure out exactly where, kind of what those towns are that you want to see. I always suggest Flamingo Crossing if you're looking in the Claremont, area in Claremont. Claremont, Winter Garden, Claremont, kind of Davenport. That's a nice place, especially if you're going to try to piggyback and make this a little bit of a vacation and enjoy Disney at all. Flamingo Crossings area has lots of new, very nice hotels, but not, let's figure out exactly where you want to go, and then we'll see if we can figure out a place for you. But yeah, 407-848-8042. And then lovely. Are all the new construction homes in Orlando that will take up to 2 years to be built, or is that in certain areas? Okay. So in the state of Florida, all of our contracts are standard. So the contract, the actual new construction purchase agreement, is going to say that the builder has 2 years to build your home. Doesn't matter if you're building a home out near the Everglades. Doesn't mean if you're building a home in Jacksonville or in Tallahassee or in Miami or here in Central Florida. The new purchase agreement is going to read the same way with 2 years. Now, is it taking 2 years? No, not everywhere, because remember, not everyone is allowed to build from dirt. So build from dirt is exactly what I just said. You go from the very beginning of the process. You find the home site, you pick the floor plan, you choose your elevation, your structural options, you go to the design center, and you literally build it from the ground up. You are present for the whole build process. Those are the ones that we may have a little bit more of a concern with. And it's not everywhere. Remember, the Ovation area in Horizon West had some water main issues, and that has delayed tremendously what's happening out there. So it's not common at all for your home to take 2 years to build. Now, in this particular market that we're in, where we have building material issues and trade issues and those types of delays, it's not uncommon for you to be able to build from dirt and someone to say it's going to take a year to build. That's fine. That's kind of where we are. Even pre-pandemic, pre-issues, it was usually a 9-month build time. 3 months of it in permitting, and then about 6 months to actually build the home. And again, some of these homes that we talk about, if it's new construction, some of those homes are out of permitting. Some of them have already have the foundation poured. Some of them are at drywall. Some of them are at the finishing stages. So it really depends on what house and where you are in the process and where you contract on it to determine, how much longer it's going to take. But it's really only that one particular area at the moment, to my understanding, that's taking that long, where they're like, okay, we may not make our 2-year mark. But remember last week when we did our awards thing, and I told you I had an honorary award for a client of mine who it was 16 months since she originally contracted. Is it 16 months? I think so. Yeah. 16 months since she contracted, and we just had her pre-construction meeting. And so hers is going to be pushing that 2-year mark too. But at any rate, okay, so are there any other questions? If not, I'm going to move on to my next thing. Okay, I think we're good at the moment. All right, so let's go to what I am watching, because it's a new one. Okay, so they've just released a new season of In the Dark. So it was so cute because Eric this morning, he's like, what are you watching? I was like, it's In the Dark. It's on Netflix. And his picture was of a different show. He's like, I don't think I have the right one. And so I said, no, it's not the right one. He fixed it this morning, though. First of all, isn't that doggo so cute? Oh my gosh, that dog is so sweet. Love it. Okay, so this is just one of those shows that, like when you're scrolling and you're trying to find something to watch, it just kind of keeps scrolling. And then finally one day you're like, forget it. I'll just watch it. So I watched the first couple of seasons of this when they came out. And then I've noticed that there's a lot of new seasons have just been released. Okay, I can say that again. A lot of shows have new seasons released. There we go. And In the Dark is one of them. So I was like, oh, okay. So I've just started that. I think I'm only on episode 3 of this new season. But if you haven't seen it, if you have any interest, that beautiful actress right there, she is a blind woman with her seeing eye dog and finds herself in a very precarious situation where a murder happens, and then just all hell breaks loose and all sorts of stuff is happening. So that's kind of what I'm watching. Obviously still occasionally going up and watching some Walking Dead with my daughter and son-in-law. And then, when I go to bed at night now, instead of, I either watch a show or I play a little bit of my Disney Dreamlight game because it's so fun. And I don't care if I'm an adult woman, it's still fun to run around and talk to Moana. And if you get it for your kids, and then just to test it out, you can make sure that you like it, and I promise you'll love it too because you get to build your stuff. Anyway, okay. All right, so I think I hit everything on my list. Did I, Eric? Did I get it all? I think I did. Let me do one more quick check to see if there's any other questions, and then I'm going to bid you adieu. Okay. I think I got everything. If I didn't, if you have any other questions, let me know. Okay, so just as a quick reminder, so next Monday, and honestly, for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a bit crazy. Well, first of all, Wednesday evening, 7 o'clock, we're going to do a midweek wind down. You can have wine if you want, but I'm having decaf coffee. Actually, candidly, it's always caffeinated. But you can have decaf. So that'll be this Wednesday evening. I don't really know what we're doing on that one. We're just going to try it out again to see if it's more convenient for some of you, because we know Monday mornings at 9 might be a little bit hard. And then the other thing is, what was the other thing? Oh, next Monday. So for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a bit crazy, but specifically next Monday, I do have a closing out near the airport. At 10 o'clock in the morning. It happens to be my daughter and son-in-law's home, so it doesn't matter if it's them or if it's another client. The closing is happening. So I will probably either do a quick meet and greet and say hello to you, and Eric will probably take over. I'm sure you're excited to have him host because he doesn't ramble as much.
Disco party.
What disco party? Oh, come in your disco garb. All right. That's too funny. All right, guys. All right, I did a quick double check. Let me just make sure. I love to mention. Gary's here. So hi, Gary. Again, if I didn't mention you guys, I like to give you guys a shout out because I appreciate you guys coming so much. Just a quick reminder. Hello Horizon West. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok. They give you some great reels and things, some information if you're here about the Horizon West area. So thank you guys for following me and joining in on this, and then right back at you, my friends. Anything else? If there's anyone. I just saw it. Look at us. Susie Q. Susie Q, I just love you. Is it unrealistic to think that we can get a single story new build, 3 to 4 bedroom, 2,000 to 2,300 square feet for under $550 in the Claremont, Mineola, or Apopka areas?
That's possible.
It's possible, yeah. Remember my rule of thumb. And the thing is, does it have to be new construction or can it be resale? And again, that's up to you. It's up to every person individually as to what is their reason, their motivation for moving? What is their timeline for moving? Is that timeline flexible? Is it open? Is it very a hard deadline? And what is, there's so many different variables, which is why I talk for like an hour to each of my clients before we even do anything, because there's so many deep-seated questions and things that we need to map out. But if it has to be new construction, if you're like, nope, I'm only doing new construction, take the base price that they are offering of a home. If they're offering, 449,000, keep using that number. Take that number and add about, for that much square footage, let's do 15%. Take that 449 times 15%, and then that gives you a more realistic number of where you're probably going to be after you've chosen your design options. That doesn't include a lot premium. And it used to include lot premiums, but because lot premiums are so high, it skews the number. So, if you want to budget $25,000 for a lot premium, it could be grossly underestimated or you could be way over. And there's no way I'll know that until we know where you're looking. But put in your mind $25,000 for a lot premium and then add 15% to the base price. And that way you can tell, if that's going to work. However, Susie Q, right now, and all of you, by the way, I have a list of some amazing Arubas, Antiguas, Amelias, all A's, triple A's, lots of beautiful, a St. Croix, amazing floor plans that have, they are kind of like that they gotta go, because again, the builders are like, okay, these communities are closing out, my friends. Some of them are like, just let's get these things sold, let's get our builders out and on to the next community. So if you are looking, and some of them were in the low to mid fives, so if you are interested, Susie Q, specifically, if you're kind of ready to go in the next several months, like to move in a couple of months, you contract now, you don't close on it until it's completed, but you can lock in on it now. So there are options, and that's actually in Claremont that I'm referencing. So again, text me anybody that is thinking of coming in town, or if you have those questions, 407-848. Eric has this out here somewhere. I don't know where it is. No, that was the wrong one. Sorry. Call 407-848-8042 and text me anytime. Just tell me you were on coffee time and you are coming in town whenever, and then we'll basically get that process started. Because remember, more than anything, this coffee time was established as a time for me to connect with my clients, old and new, friends and family, before I get busy on my work day. But at its core, I'm a realtor. That's what I do. And you know, I do a lot. So that's what I do. Yes. Thank you. That's what I do. So it's not just this coffee time. It's not just the videos. All of that is for you. That is for you to, number one, meet me and connect with me, because so many of you don't live here, and we're only connecting this way until you do come here in person, which I can't wait for that. But it's to provide you this information. But ultimately, hopefully in return, you'll be calling me and letting me help you through the process and give you that guidance, whether it is new construction or whether it is resale. And Eric just pointed out another comment or another question. Who was it? No, I'm looking. Oh, I see it. Would you rather buy at Oakland Park or in the Wellness Way in Claremont, Serenole Lakes? First of all, ethically, I cannot steer you to or from any community, anywhere, any builder, any home, any location, any city. So, you know, it's really a personal preference. I mean, where I would choose to live is where I live, right? Because this is what I feel like is home to me. It's where I want to be. I love Oakland Park for the specific reason of the aesthetic is so cool. I don't know that I would want to live there, because even though I love that aesthetic, I don't know that for my day-to-day living, if I want that type of a home. I like my front load garage. I like kind of what I have. But Oakland Park is gorgeous. It is beautiful. And driving through there, you feel like you're in Huckleberry. Is that what it was? What was the place? Mayberry. Huckleberry. That's the lake over there. And Mayberry, you feel like you're in this great place with all these rear entry garage style homes. They all have these front porches, and it just feels very sitting on the front porch with a glass of lemonade or mint tea, and enjoying that kind of an aesthetic in that community. And it is absolutely beautiful. And those floor plans by the builders out there are absolutely gorgeous. And then, kind of, excuse me, to reference your Serenole Lakes out in Claremont in the Serenoa section, that's another area where, you've got Sawgrass Bay kind of at the entrance of it, and then it feeds right on into Serenoa. And then that Serenoa section is going to be connecting, as we've talked about, to Fleming's and Western Way. So again, it really just has to be, the lots in Serenoa Lakes, a lot of those have that beautiful view and the conservation and everything back behind it. So I can't really tell you. I will tell you that if this is honest to goodness, I'm not Catholic, but whatever. Honest to goodness, there, I'll do that. Honest to goodness, I would be happy if my mother, my brother, my sister, my friends, my family, my children lived in either of those communities. So there, I can just say it that way. Oh, we have another one. Does that help? What? This one? Miss Arlene, is it possible to close on a home within 2 weeks? Yes. Are you a cash buyer? If you're a cash buyer and it's a resale home, then yes, absolutely. If you are not a cash buyer, that would be hard pressed. 2 weeks is quite difficult. And it's not, and it's because of the paperwork. It's because of the title search. It's because of the things that are going on behind the scenes. Real estate is a beautiful theatrical performance. And there is so much stuff happening behind the scenes, behind the curtains, that the average buyer is not aware of. And it takes so many people to do this, and, to make sure that when you purchase a piece of earth and the structure that's built on that piece of earth, that it is all on the up and up, that everything is okay, that you are protected, that the seller is protected, that everything is kosher, everything is good. And so can you close on it in 2 weeks? From the lending perspective, probably not. If you are a cash buyer, then yes, it can happen in 2 weeks. It's a push, but it can absolutely happen. So if you're a cash buyer, let me know and we'll see if we can find you something and you can close in 2 weeks. By the way, that also is with the assumption that this person who lives in that home can get out in 2 weeks. It might be vacant though. So yes, the answer is yes. All right. Any other questions did you come across, dear? I think we're good. Oh yes. So Miss Arlene says, thank you. I'll be paying cash. Yes. Then Miss Arlene, give me a call, 407-848-8042. If you're looking in this area, let me know and we'll see if we can find you a home where that 2-week timeline can get you what you need. That's a good one. Yeah, cash buyers still have lots of leverage. All right, my friends. So we are going to scoot because it is now almost 10 o'clock. And as usual, I've talked away an hour of your morning, and I have work to do, my friends. So I'm going to scoot, and I want to let you know that, remember, we are so appreciative of you guys joining us. Please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and happy house hunting. Bye, guys. See ya.